BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
Talking with Jason Rich, who recently completed the Celtic Warrior Challenge with Julie Wolf and her team, and just want to reach out to him because I heard he did pretty good in that race. Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself to start. What got you into OCR, and who are you?
I'm Jason Rich. Currently, I'm living outside of New Orleans, Louisiana. Family man. I'm father of 4 kids, ranging from 9 to almost a 1-year-old. In a couple of days, the youngest turned 1. I've always grown up loving fitness and everything else. I actually grew up playing soccer, running around the fields, doing that pretty much indoor, outdoor, year-round long. I was always out playing. And then in college, I got into a little bit more weightlifting, fitness, running around. And then as things progressed and started a family and that, I was watching American Ninja Warrior, saw the Spartan races on TV, and started Googling and searching, is that anything near me? And 2016, I found a Warrior Dash that I was able to go. My wife and I went and did that together, had a blast, and then come to find out, unfortunately, I wasn't looking to be able to travel too far, and there's not a whole lot of obstacle course races down here in the South. I got lucky, found a random site for Battle OCR, a local race down here also put on, and got into that, did a handful of those, and then found local ones. I've gone out and done a couple of Savages, conquered the gauntlet the past couple of years, traveled a little bit and made family vacations out of it. And then saw Celtic Warrior was right up in Meridian. I went up to college up in Mississippi State, so have family over in that area and that as well. So it's like, hey, another local OCR here that I can go and support and get my feet wet, get a little muddy, do some obstacles and play around. So I really like the fitness. I love being outside. I love being outdoors and running. And so it just kind of came down my alley.
Awesome. You also said you like to do ninja. Do you have a local ninja gym there that you like to participate in?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. There is actually a local gym called NOLA Muscle Park. It's located right there in New Orleans or outside of New Orleans. And I go and they did like Ninja Night on Friday nights. I'd go and compete, and then we'd able to go and train there a little bit. And then they host, so there's the show American Ninja Warrior that you kind of have to have your story to get on. I haven't been fortunate enough to be picked to go on the show itself, but because of the show, a lot of the ninjas have put on and kind of created like their own little leagues. And so there's this National Ninja League that our gym is a host for. And so I've actually competed in a few of those events. I took second in one of them recently, earlier this year. My boy competed last season and stuff as well. He qualified to go to their Worlds, which was in North Carolina last February. And we were able to go and meet some of the big ninjas out there. He got to compete, play on the obstacles. Great fun, lots of fun. They actually have another competition coming up here December 12th and 13th. It's a double header. You can get 2 competitions for 1 weekend stay down in New Orleans. I'll be helping actually run the competition with the owner to help him out a little bit with everything going on, since I've already qualified for the next round.
So that competition here in a couple of weeks, is that at your gym there?
Yeah, it's being hosted by NOLA Muscle Park, and it's for the National Ninja League. And it's an opportunity to qualify for the regional, which will be start being hosted in January, February timeframe. And what's cool is there's different age groups, so it'll be kids from 8 years old all the way to the adults 40 over, and an elite section. And you have your own little age group, and you get 2 chances at the course, or 2 chances, one competition on Saturday and then a completely new one with a different course on Sunday. If you're wanting to see what they do on the show, it's here local and close by, and I love it. It gives me an opportunity to do like the grips and the strength, which also translates over into the OCR world, at least for the obstacle proficiency. It makes a lot of the obstacles in OCR very simple, which means that you have to spend a little bit more time running.
Let's see, I've seen a lot of guys doing crossover from Ninja into OCR and vice versa, just because with Ninja there's so much grip strength and upper body that you have to have, as well as the agility to move quickly from one obstacle to the next.
Yeah, no, I love going between the two. The problem is a lot of times, like OCR, there's a lot of like the endurance in the running, and then the Ninja is a lot of just like you said, the upper body grip strength and the endurance of just being able to hang and have that upper body strength. And so they're two completely different worlds. But boy, if you can work with both, they do complement each other very well.
Yeah, I bet. You said you did Battle OCR down there. You ever run into Dwayne Legrand, the Bayou Spartan, he likes to call himself?
Yeah, I've met Dwayne. I've done a handful of workouts with him outside of the race. Actually, the race director Sid and Dwayne, I've actually helped Dwayne and worked with him as I helped build the course with Battle OCR, and then he also was part of another race, Vanguard, down here that I don't think is functioning anymore at the moment, but he also was helping out with that. I went and supported him with that and ran in that. And I guess he's also an ambassador for Celtic Warrior at the moment as well. So.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I saw that when you brought up Battle OCR there, because Dwayne does them, and he also does Legend Born Racing, and he also hangs out with the More Heart Than Scars crew down there. So.
Yeah,
a lot of the teams that I run with.
Yeah, he's all over the OCR circuit, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could travel and be out as much as a lot of the other guys. Hopefully, next year there won't be so many travel restrictions. My work will not allow me to board an aircraft right now, so I'm kind of stuck with the Pacific Northwest in my own little hole here. Which we've had one OCR in Washington this year, and I've managed to get out to it. So
at least you're able to make it.
Yeah, usually we have about a dozen up here that are local primarily, and then the two Spartan races and the one Tough Mudder. But this year, none of that stuff happened. Just one little local adventure soccer. They raised money for a village over in Africa. Actually, is all they put it on for. So it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple smaller ones that were supposed to happen, and they got canceled as well. It's been a rough year for being able to do OCR, that's for sure.
It has been. Celtic Warrior originally was supposed to be back in May, I think, or something, July.
May or July, July, and then it got pushed, and then we had October, and then I think it was May, and then COVID hit. Then they went July, and then we had a hurricane, and then in October, and we had another hurricane. And so then they hit up right before Thanksgiving. So I'm glad that they were persistent and kept with it. That's for sure.
Yeah, Julie's definitely committed. Next year, I think she's got 5 or 6 races on her docket that we'll be talking about on the show here shortly in the future.
That's a lot of work.
You said you got that. It is. She, I don't know that she sleeps. I don't think graphic design and a bunch of other things. So I don't see where she's got time.
Yeah.
You were saying early on you got to go do a Warrior Dash with your wife, and then you're doing Ninja with your son.
Yes.
Does your wife still get out and do any of the other races with you, or is she just kind of kick back and with 4 kids now? I guess you kind of got.
Oh no, she still gets out there. So I think I've managed to course or talk in and trick almost all of my brothers and sister. I've talked her dad and her sister and husband all to come out and do races, and I make it a family event. So I learned pretty quickly that I can't do the open wave because I want to see how fast I can do. So what I end up doing is I'll sign up and do the competitive, get my competitiveness out, and then I'll go back out on the course with them as they run a little bit later in the morning, and kind of help them through and have a good time. And so she's come out, she's done Warrior, she's done almost all the battle races with me. We've done a Tough Mudder together. She wasn't able to do, she hasn't been able to race for about a year or so now, just because of the pregnancies. The doctor said, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But she comes out, and she even does the ninja stuff as well. That's the one thing I love about the fitness as well, with the obstacle course races and the Ninja is we make it a family event. My kids come out and they train with me in the garage. I set up my own gym in the garage and everything. They'll come out and train with me in the garage. They'll come ride bikes next to me while I'm doing my runs. Really, I made, you know, being fit and staying active and healthy is important to me, and I want my kids to see it. And I like to make it so that they're involved in doing it as well.
Does your business need first aid, AED, OSHA, flagging, or other safety training? James Safety Services is your one-stop shop. Find them on Facebook today at James Safety Services WA and ask for a quote on hosting your training needs.
Let's talk about Celtic Warrior. I hear you did pretty good in that race.
Yes, thankfully. I've been putting in a lot of training. I did a race the end of last year, in the August time frame, and about 2 miles in, I just hit a wall, and I was like, man, I'm great at the obstacles and everything, but the running and everything just tore me up. So I figured, you know what, I need to get back to training, figure out how to do this running business, right? Ninja got me strong for the obstacles, and I need to be able to get the running. So I did some research, found some books, started doing some training. Then towards July of this year, I was able, so I trained all through, last August through March. And luckily, Battle OCR was able to do the race the weekend before COVID hit. And I was able to go have a strong showing there. Was able to get up on the podium and the SIDS races are awesome, very rig heavy, upper body and stuff. I did really well there. And then I kept training, but COVID just kind of kept us in. So I've been running and doing what I can. And then I saw that Rich Diaz and BJ Jones put together a virtual obstacle course race training program, which I found very unique. I hadn't seen anything like that before. So I signed up back at the end of July, and they've been working. It's about every week they send out about 4 to 6 workouts between running and OCR type stuff. Treadmill work with hills, which is good for me down here. And it prepped me to hit crazy enough, I think we gained like 700 feet of elevation during that Celtic Warrior race. I just, that there was so much technical uphill terrain. It was unbelievable. And if I hadn't been doing all the training in the off season or during this whole time, I wouldn't have lasted, that's for sure.
Yeah, the venue there, Meridian, looked like just a beautiful venue. I was watching the videos all week long when Julie was posting them, and you had the 2 water crossings and running around the lake there. It just looked like just a great location to have that race.
It was beautiful, and I didn't even realize it was there. So I went to school up in Mississippi State in Starkville, and then my family, my wife's family lives over in Hattiesburg area. So Meridian's like the halfway point, and I would travel back and forth constantly through Meridian, like on a regular basis, and I had no clue that place was there. And so it's pretty cool to see, like, right there close by, the trails, the trees, the woods. I couldn't have asked for a better location, like right there in the middle of Mississippi. That it was great. Absolutely loved it.
I think plans on that same location.
Yeah, I think
next year for at least one of her races.
From what I was understanding, and I guess she'll give you more insight when she comes on again later. But my understanding, talking to some of the people there and with them, is that I think she's planning on having the whole series and having it kick off and have the start of the season there at that venue, and then end the season there at the venue, right there in Meridian. And I can't blame her. I mean, you have all like the restaurants, the local stuff is right there next to it, the hotels and everything. Literally, like, you get up and in less than 5 minutes, you're right there at the venue. Like, you can't ask for anything better for it being like right off the interstate and you're right there, but yet you feel like you're secluded from everything. It's phenomenal. And she has endless trails to choose and go from to get back in the woods with a little bit of some openings to be able to put the obstacles in. And then the city, it looks like, has been very kind to them on the land. They've been able to put in some, like the sternum checker and the big log crawl up over top and everything. They just went ahead and installed them right there in the woods, made out of the logs and everything. It looks like they're letting them keep some of those obstacles there, where they have permanent locations in the woods for some of the obstacles for us to go in and race past.
It sounds like it was a match made in heaven between the City and her company to get that series going forward. You said there's about 700 feet elevation gain, and it was a lot of technical running.
Yes.
Is that just she run you back on the equestrian trails, or how did you guys do that?
Yeah, it looks like we start off on like a little ATV 4-wheeler track that they had, and then she went straight up onto the hiking horse trails and switched us back and forth, up and down, all the way around, as it just kind of zigzagged in and out between the road and then back into the wooded trails. It's like a single track all the way around, and then you'd pop up and there you'd have here's a weighted carry for you to go kind of put your feet in, get about knee deep with a nice heavy carry every now and again into the lake, and then back out into the woods, running up and down the trails up and down the hill.
So for you, what was the most challenging obstacle there?
The one that surprisingly gave me the most difficulty, we were about 4 miles in, 4.5 miles in, and they had I think it's either 20 or 25 pound like medicine ball for the males, and right there on the hill in the woods, then hanging up, they had like a 2x4 hanging probably like 10 feet up in the air, nailed up to a tree, and you had to toss the thing twice over the top like a strongman throw. And I the first two went up underneath, and finally I got figured out a little bit better the technique and got my legs underneath me and was able to get the final two. That was probably the one that gave me the most trouble. But I know the one that was most challenging for everybody else was the obstacle he called nunchucks, and it's exactly as it sounds. It's a pegboard, and what he took the pegs and he actually put a chain on either end of them, so you couldn't go more than just like one move at a time along the pegboard. So it's no longer, a lot of times you see people, at least in like those races and stuff, they're able to like reach out really far, put one peg in, hold it, and then reach out really far with another peg like a monkey bar, and then they're able to get to the bell. This forced you where you had to do almost every single peg along the board to get to the end. So I know that one was probably that took out most people with their bands.
I say you're right. A lot of people at Savage and the other guys that have those peg walls, they'll go with their full arm span, basically go from one to the next and have the least number of transfers.
Yep. This one you had to at least put in probably about 5 moves minimum in order to be able to reach the bell.
What was your favorite obstacle?
Probably that one. I love the upper body. I love the rigs. Unfortunately for this one, they only have the 2, which is fine for the startup and what she was doing and what they're dealing with. Like that was good. I enjoyed the Atlas carry. Surprisingly, the Atlas carry was kind of fun. Carrying that around over into the lake and back out. And I think the best, like what they're able to do to keep a challenge was about halfway through the race, you came up to a barbed wire crawl, or basically crawl in the mud. So there's really no way you get around, and your hands and everything's all muddy, straight into a rope climb. So that's when I was thankful that you're up in the front of the pack and not towards the end of the day after that whole rope's caked in mud.
Yeah, that would probably get real rough later in the day with just the rope being soaked.
Yeah. I guess the other obstacle that probably took the most out of me outside of the ball throw was the 3 7-foot walls or 8-foot walls, like 2 feet apart from each other, that you had to touch the ground in between. And you couldn't get the run up. So it really was like you're already, your heart rate's maxed out. You come up to that wall, you have to jump up and kind of muscle your way over and drop down. And then you don't have any way to run up or anything. You really had to, dig deep to jump up and pull yourself over, and doing that 3 times in a row with your heart rate up and then trying to get the pace going right after again. That was a nice little change up that I hadn't seen in a race like that. Usually you have the walls and they're like 6 feet or 4 feet and you can just kind of hurdle over them, or there's space to get the run up. But having them that close where you really had to do just like a standing jump and muscle your way over, it was a nice little challenge there.
Yeah, I think they call that the 777s, and I see a lot of the more limber athletes will run up to a wall usually, and they'll do the kind of the handstand over it or the flip over it. And with the 777s, they're close enough together, you can't do that. You have to just get up, transition, drop, get up, transition, drop.
Yep.
It's a lot more effort to it than a regular wall.
Yes, it drains you a lot more than what normal technique would be out on the course in an open area. That's for sure.
You finished that one up. You podiumed, right?
Yes, I came in second by 9 seconds.
That's a pretty good one. There's not very many races this year. What'd you think about the guy that won it?
Down to earth country boy. He's actually from the area. So the one thing, I don't know if it was because of the COVID restrictions or because of how they had the course laid out with the obstacles and the limited amount of equipment they had for like their carries and stuff, but they ended up, or I don't know, but they put us off in waves. So when we took off, I was at the very front and I went off with a group of 5. And then I think every 2 to 3 minutes, they sent the rest of us off in little groupings. So it turned into a time trial, not necessarily like your normal race back and forth. So I came across, at the very beginning, no one, passed me up or anything. I came across the line first, but then it's kind of a waiting game. And so I didn't know until we got to the awards. I figured I was on the podium just based off of everything, but the guy that came in first, he didn't have a watch on him. And so when it came time and they're announcing the winners, I came in second. And then they said by 9 seconds, he took first. And I was like, I'm happy I'm on podium. But at the same time, I was like, man, I wish we would have started at the same time. Just, having 9 seconds right there, neck and neck. I would have loved to see how things would have gone down the stretch with both of us. But the guy's super nice. He's a little bit older than me, has his little family. Actually found out he has a newborn coming here shortly. So he's excited about that, but he grows up in the area. He's around there. He goes and runs the trail all the time. He's excited to have everybody in his backyard, getting to see, the cool venue and everything that they had. And that's one thing I love about the OCR community. Like you go there and it's like almost instant family. Everybody's just happy to be there and get to know each other.
Yeah. Julie was telling me that was his first OCR. So I thought that was amazing to hear that he came out and smoked it for their first time.
Yeah, it was cool. I was talking to him afterwards and he's like, yeah, I've done a lot of running, everything else. And I've worked on, he learned about more with this form. And then he's telling me, it's like, yeah, I got the running down pretty good, but I was worried about the obstacle stuff. So I just kind of looked at the basic. I knew I needed to put on, get strength, but not get bulky. And so he's like, I did some power type moves. So I basically do like pull-ups and then I would do like some biceps and back and a little bit of some squats and off I went. And, his little training routine that he put in for himself worked out really well. And he crushed it. He did a good job.
Yeah. I thought that was just an amazing part of the story there, that new guy to the team. And like you said, it's our community. Even though he was new, everyone just wrapped him up and wanted to hug him and tell him great job, because that's all we're all out there, just to push each other to do better for ourselves. OCR kind of grew out of the let's get people off the couch and get people moving, and that's all it was grown out of. So
yeah. And then it's good. He's asking questions with everybody else about training and then I think he learned a lot from it too, because afterwards we were sitting there talking and he's able to talk about gear and, different shoes and how we go about training and doing things. And that's the other good thing is at the end of the day, when you're done, you sit and talk to your competitors and you work together on making each other better. Because, at the end of the day, you have to put in your own work and you want them to come as best prepared to challenge you so that you both, grow and get better as you go along.
Yeah, this year with the lack of races, the community aspect has been really tough. A lot of us up here in the Northwest, without the races, we 8, 10, 12 times a year, that's the only time we get together. Maybe that in a holiday party or something. And even the holiday party has to be on the super down low because our governor's out to get us up here. But so do you have any more races coming up this year? I know you got the competition here in a couple of weeks for the Ninja. Is there any more races or plans for next year?
I am signed up for the Tactical Titan is what it's called. It's right there in Florida. It's supposed to happen. I was supposed to do it back in August, I think. But because of COVID, it got postponed. So I'll be meeting up with one of my friends, one of my OCR buddies, and we'll be racing that January 22nd or 23rd right there in Florida for the Tactical Titan. And then outside of that, I don't have anything planned. I am qualified and am planning on going to Worlds in Vermont, which is September, I think, is when they've rescheduled that for. So I'm looking forward to actually going out there and playing on all the obstacles. I'm excited about that. I'll probably end up, I know Battle OCR will probably end up doing another race sometime next year, hopefully, if everything goes well. And then Celtic, I think they're planning on March, April timeframe is kind of the rumors I've heard. We'll see what happens after all this, but I'll probably get out and do Celtic again since it's right here in the backyard.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to tell us about yourself, or for the viewers, things that they should know, or any advice for them?
Don't be afraid. It's, the stuff you see, like even like with the Ninja, the Spartan, the OCR, any of that stuff. I mean, a lot of times, yeah, we make it look easy, but we had to go through the same learning curve and everything else that everyone else did. So if you're wanting to get out, if you're wanting to go do it, don't be afraid. Just get out there and do it. The cool thing with either of those communities, everything I've seen, even with the racing and everything, once you get out on the course, outside of the competitive heat, you're most likely going in to be in the open. It's a great one big happy family. Like, everybody's helping everybody. They're giving pointers, they're helping you get over things, they're encouraging. There's very rarely is there any negativity or someone putting you down or judging you for being out there. They're just happy you're out there and that you're overcoming whatever challenges that you can. And you may not be able to get over all the obstacles, but you know what? That's fine. In life, we don't get through all of our obstacles, right? We have to keep going after it day after day. But what's important is that we try, and then we learn what we need to get better at, and then we go home and we train and we get better and we work, and then we go back, and then guess what? That 6-foot wall we couldn't get over the first time, we're now able to get over that. And now, I get to the monkey bars and, oh man, I was only able to hang on one. This time I got halfway through, right? Those are victories that you get for yourself. And that's the great thing with this is, don't be afraid of it. Get out there and give it a try. And anything's possible. Like, find the time. If you really want the passion, find the time to do it. I mean, I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids and all that other stuff. I get up early before work to be able to get my training in, or I, resolve it around where the kids come out and do it with me in the afternoon, or I go get the workout in after they go to bed. Sometimes you need to, prioritize, and you have the time, but if you have the desire, you'll find the time to make it work.
It's funny, you pretty much described the last 4 years of my training there, where I went from unable to get across the wall, unable to even hold on to a monkey bar. When I first started, I'd go up there, I'd basically touch the monkey bar, drop, and do 30 burpees. It's just like that, And this last year, I was able to get across the monkey bars, get up and over. I think it was an 8-foot wall without any help. It's just been that journey right there, going from a guy at 260, 270 pounds that couldn't do anything, to grow, do more. It's an awesome community and a great place to grow yourself as a person.
And the great thing, like when you did those things, right, you probably felt like you won the race.
Yeah, the first time I got
even more, right?
Yeah, the first time I got over that wall, I got up there, I sat on top, and I looked around, and man, I was accomplished. That was it. I was done. I didn't even want to do the rest of the race. That was it. I was done. I was so elated, and I think I was actually on a beast, probably my 3rd beast that I've done, and got out there and did that. And it's like, man, that's just such a change from a guy who would come up to the wall and a 6-foot wall and just be like, oh God, it's too much.
That's the one thing I love about it, is being out there with my family, with friends, people I don't even know, and watching them, get up to an obstacle and look defeated, and then you encourage them and you give them pointers and everything else, and then they get up there and they complete it, and just seeing like the joy, the excitement on their face. I mean, it's awesome, and it applies to everyday life and what we do. But it's an awesome escape from everything that we have, right? You're able to get out and kind of become your own person, put on a new persona, so to speak, when you get out on the course that you may not have, from a day-to-day basis.
Yep, you're exactly right. You can get out there and be more than you are in your daily life. So awesome. Thank you, Jason. I loved talking to you today. I'm going to watch you next year, and hopefully we can get you back on after some more wonderful races or even ninja competitions. You go out there and blast out that competition. Maybe I'll get out there and get you back on, talk about that, because ninja is kind of between ninja and like the War X style races, where you have, the ninja, of course, is all obstacle to obstacle. And then like War X, where they have like actual explosions and mines and all sorts of weird like battle stuff.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the two next evolutions of OCR. So been watching a lot of the guys that are doing that.
They have something similar like that. It's called the tactical games as well, where they go out and they have almost like a military type competition that's open to the public, for where you bring, if you have like your guns and everything, they do the shooting with like the OCR type stuff in with it as well. And they have like events set up kind of like what CrossFit does throughout the day. And it's like a weekend competition, and you get points and everything. And it's a point total throughout the whole weekend. I've seen some of that stuff that's kind of down the same pathway.
Yeah, one of our partners, West Coast Obstacles, the owner, Jesse, he was just down at Tactical Games, got us right before Thanksgiving, so probably 3 weeks ago. And he took a lot of pictures and video, and he actually came home and built some of the obstacles that they saw down there so he could practice up here.
Yep.
So
thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.